Hi guys, it's Renee here from JJ&J. I thought that I'd just remind you of the 5 phases of the cardiac cycle. Phase 1, we start in diastole. So remember, that's the relaxation phase. So what's happening in the heart? The blood is starting to fill again from the top, from the lungs and the rest of the body, into our right and left atrium. Remember, this is not blood flow through the heart. This is cardiac cycle. So it's all happening at the same time. The blood is coming from the pulmonary vein into the left atrium and from the inferior and superior vena cava into the right atrium. At this point, our tricuspid on the right side and mitral valve on the left side are closed. We're having filling in the atriums only. So this brings us to the next phase. We're still in diastole, but now we're in the filling phase. So as the atriums fill up, the pressure inside the walls increases until the pressure in the atriums exceeds that of the ventricles. And this causes our valves to open. So our mitral valve on the left side and tricuspid valve on the right open up, and the blood starts coming down into the ventricles naturally through gravity. Right, now what happens is we have a little bit of electricity in the mix and we have atrial depolarization. So the last 20% of our preload or end diastolic volume happens now when the atriums contract and squeeze the last bit of blood from the atria to the ventricles. In the 4th phase, it's ventricular systole, but before the ventricles can start squeezing, our mitral and tricuspid valves have to close. This happens because the ventricle pressure is higher now than the atrial. So our valves have closed and our ventricles start contracting due to the electricity in our conduction system. The last phase is still ventricular systole, but it's the ejection phase now. So this is when the ventricles start to squeeze, but before that can happen, we've said the mitral valve and tricuspids are closed. But now we have to open the aortic and pulmonary valves to ensure the one-way blood flow. And the way that this happens is the pressure needs to increase in our ventricles. So they continue to squeeze until they exceed the afterload, which on the left side is going to be the pressure in the aorta, which is much higher. And on the right side, it's going to be the pressure in the pulmonary artery. Once those pressures have been exceeded, those 2 valves are going to open, the aortic valve and pulmonary valve, and the blood is going to be ejected through to the body on the left side, through the aorta, and to the lungs on the right, via the pulmonary artery.